great question. Yes.
I have no money.
Yes.
I'm a student. I have no money. I'm in between jobs.
100%. So okay. Of all the study abroad trips that I've told you about, I've actually only personally paid for one. Yes, and that was when I went to England for 8 weeks, and I actually used loans. I don't want to tell you, I don't want to advise you financially. I personally felt like it was worth it, 100%. I know everyone's situation is completely different, but don't be afraid to take a loan to go have a time of your life and then come back. I know when I did my grad trip, where I went to the backpacking trip, I definitely spent money that I didn't have, but I knew I had a job that I was coming to. So, because you guys are in STEM, like your job prospects are like pretty good. So I knew I was coming to a job, and I was like, I will work it out and figure it out. I think the biggest thing for me, what I saved money from internships.
Okay.
So internships that I did over the summer, I saved money, and that's usually what I spent personally when I traveled, whether like for spring break trips and stuff, or some of the study abroad programs that I did. There's scholarships out there, or some schools. I went to a private school for grad school and a public school for undergrad, so that's where I did the loan, was in my undergrad. But for grad school, it was a pretty wealthy school, and they had funding where you could apply for funding, whether it's financial aid, or if it was a scholarship, or just this program, they needed people, so they paid for you to go. So that's kind of how I paid for that, was through school. And then I usually mostly did internships for like trips, like just trips that I did on my own, whether it was going to New York or going to Mexico for spring break. So I think that's the biggest thing. For me personally, I'm not someone who pays to get my nails done, to upgrade my phone. I cut certain luxuries out to make sure that I could afford to travel, because that's something that I really, really cared about. There's nothing wrong if that's something that you care about, but that's something I knew that travel is what I cared about and I was passionate about. So I cut a lot of things. I wouldn't buy clothes all the time at all. Even getting my hair done, I try to get it as cheaply done as possible. If someone's going to someone's house, do it yourself.
Yes.
Going to someone's house, have your sister do it, like there's different ways that you can kind of cut things down. I don't need to get a new laptop, just different ways to cut things down and just save money. Definitely having a savings account is important. I feel like if that's something, just have a goal that you want to reach, putting money in there. But I do understand people's situations is different, but you'll be surprised how many resources you have being a student. And I think my biggest advice as a student, this can apply to anything, read your emails. You don't know how many times I had people tell me, how did you hear about this? I read the email that was sent to the entire school or the entire department. I read those emails. So read your email. You never know. You never know. All the opportunities, whether it's travel or whether it's a program or whatever. I read every email I got. I read every email because for me, give you a little background, I went to community college for a year. And it's completely different from a four-year institution where you do not have many opportunities. You're bored. Classes are a lot easier sometimes, or you just don't have a lot of opportunities that you get at a four-year institution. So I knew coming into University of Illinois that I was going to take advantage of all the opportunities I possibly could and travel and study abroad. That was just one of the main things that I wanted to focus on. And so I read every email that came, and that's how I found out about all those opportunities and all that stuff. So read your emails.
Yes. do your research. But there are things on the internet that you wouldn't even know about.
I completely agree.
Research it.
In engineering specifically, I can speak to engineering. A lot of internships play pretty well, and just save that internship money. Whether if you're interning in your own city, like we were in Chicago right now, and I lived in Chicago when we were going to undergrad. I did some internships in Chicago. That way I could work from home and live at home and not have to pay rent for somewhere. And so I saved all that rent money and I can put it towards travel. Or if you do go to other cities, because I've also interned in other cities, sometimes companies offer to pay for your rent if you tell them you're coming from out of state. So just
I never paid for where I was living during an internship, and I never lived at home when I was working the internships. Let them take care of that.
So if you find that the companies that aren't, sometimes just have to take that internship in your home city. But in engineering, you'd be surprised, they pay pretty well and they take care of their interns at least for a lot of the bigger companies. Anyway. But that's what I would say. But it's very possible, I promise you, whether you're in a private school where they pay for some of these, or you're in a public school, you just kind of if this is something that you want, you just gotta adjust your life accordingly to meet that. Exactly. Yeah.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, I think that's something that I learned. But yeah, I think that's kind of gist of it all.
Okay, nice. If you guys couldn't tell, we went to school together.
Yes. We lived together too. We were
did
roommates.
live together. Me and Tawa lived together twice.
Yeah.
And then Tawa has a twin.
Yeah.
Miss Shooks over here.
Sup. And me and Shooks, actually, we both went on the study abroad that I did in England. Yeah, so we both went on that.
And the spring break trip too.
And spring break, yeah, we did a lot of
Very
spring break trips together.
Yes.
Um,
So I have loved these two girls for so long.
But like, yeah, I think the main thing is that you can totally do it, and I totally advise doing it. I know not everyone loves to travel, but you gotta travel to figure out if you like to travel. So do it at least once.
And if you can't afford all the out of country trips, don't be afraid to just explore what your country has to offer. Like,
That's a good point. Yeah.
I know one of the things that we've gotten into recently is going to national parks. This February we went to Death Valley and we loved it so much that in August we are planning on going to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And we have plans to go to Joshua Tree next year. Yeah. So don't be afraid to just explore what your nation has to offer you. Like, don't be afraid to take a road trip one weekend. Take advantage of your 3-day holidays. That is going to be your best friend.
That's true.
Especially while working, because then
Exactly.
you can use the holiday time and then add on a couple more days, and then you have like
a full week trip
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
Or, you know, if you're not a fan of traveling, you prefer to just relax, do a day trip somewhere. Like, find somewhere that's really close to you and just explore. Don't be afraid to explore the city right next to you. Take advantage of everything, every opportunity you have. And somebody like me, I didn't really have a lot of internship opportunities.
And you studied, you were in science.
Exactly. So I was in engineering. I was chemistry. So some of my opportunities were different from theirs, but I was still able to do the study abroad with my sister. I was still able to travel to Cabo with her. Just know how to manage your money. That's the biggest thing. If you're living in the dorm, maybe the next year think of doing an apartment, because that's going to be a lot cheaper. Like she said, if you're the type of person who doesn't spend a lot of time like doing your nails, getting your nails done, find something else to do. Like she mentioned, I was the one that always did her hair for her. I do my own hair. That's how I save my money. Like, you just have to find those little things every single day to help you cut back. Create a savings account. Maybe at the end of the month, put in just $10. $10 is enough, and you'll be fine.
For sure.
Very good tips, ladies.
I think I have another tip. Especially if you go to a big university, like we went to University of Illinois, there are a lot. Your peers. A lot of them are international students, or even just students who live all across the country. So a great way for when you're traveling, just for fun, because I don't think you just have to travel for studying abroad. I think even just in general, you should just like winter break, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to this place, I'm gonna go to this place, because you have that time off again. You can go visit your friend who lives in New York. That's what I did.
Yeah.
You can go visit a friend who lives in England or whatever, because you have a place to stay. Most times, I know my mom, if someone came to us, she would make your meals for you. Like, she would want to entertain you and take you out. Like, it cuts costs down a lot if you kind of like know someone who's already there. You can stay at their place or something like that. And then hostels are so cheap. Yes, it's crazy. Yeah, hostels are cheap. Hostels are kind of set up where you're maybe like one bed in like an 8-bed room, which can seem kind of scary, but it's actually not bad at all, because these are people who are traveling too and interested in the same things that you are. I personally have never had any bad hostel experience. I also absolutely am a pro. Like, I love Airbnb. I think Airbnb is amazing, especially if you kind of want that privacy. If you're that type of person who likes that privacy, I think Airbnb is great. You can also rent a room in Airbnb. So I think those are kind of like things. Just like make use of what you have around you, and people that you know.
And if you don't know, ask somebody. There's at least going to be one friend that has traveled the world. So it's like, if I need travel advice, Tala's right there. She's like that one friend that you would go get advice from. So there's always
I have friends like that who are
person.
even more well traveled too.
Exactly. So there's always one person who can help you, give you advice, and like tell you the best places for the cheap prices. You know.
I think the biggest thing is like, you work hard. You know, you went to college in Stanfield. It is not easy. I'm sure you know. It's not. So you deserve to enjoy and kind of just enjoy and live life. You work hard, but play hard. You know, like do both. Yeah.
Yeah. I would there's a lot of sites. I can't remember that one site that tells you about all the cheap flights. But
Skyscanner is one of them.
Well, yeah, that's a site to book stuff, but I think I know what you're talking about, where it's like, follow Instagram. There's so many Black women that I follow who travel. I can tell you a couple of them. Travel Noir, Global Jet Black, Simply Pursuited, Simply CYN or something like that, Sin. They're just different women, Black women specifically, who are traveling, and they always post tips. And even, I know what you're talking about, like sites that kind of tell you like, oh, this deal's going on. Travel Noir is a good one for that. Okay. And they tell you like, oh, there's like $300 to go to Cuba or something like that, or like this deal is $200 to go to England or whatever. So like, so get those sites where it alerts you what's cheap, like around the time that you want to travel. But I think, Instagram, use social media where you could like follow people who are going to these places they're interested in, because they always post things like, okay, you should check this out, or don't check this out, or this is the experience that I had. So follow different people, and I'm sure we could probably leave some links down below in the video of different people you can follow.
And then I also know that like even on Instagram there are some groups that are trying to get people together, and they go on group trips together. So if you don't have somebody to go with, find a group like that. You can meet new people at the same time, you know.
Yeah,
so
totally.
take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's on the hostels. You can have one experience in one and one in a completely other one.
That
so
is true.
Make sure you look it up.
Read the reviews, guys.
Yes, because I know when we went to Venice, it was like, they told us we were gonna stay in a hostel. I'm like, okay. But we got in there, it was literally like a club. And it had a bar downstairs, and it had the rooms upstairs, and my whole group, and it was like 20 of us, we're all in one room, and because we had like all these bunk beds. But it was such a fun time, like all the guys and girls, we were literally all in there, and they had separate like community bathrooms that we can go to, so it didn't feel uncomfortable. But it was during the last World Cup, and it was like a party downstairs, so we didn't want to leave our hostel to go around. We just went downstairs, partied, watched the game, got our drinks, went back upstairs, had more fun in the room. Like it can vary.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's a good.
I think didn't you have a sketchy one when you were?
Oh yes, in Italy. I don't know if you remember this. So we did this while we were in England. We did like a weekend trip to like Venice and Rome. There was definitely a very sketchy hostel. It was like on a floor in like a very sketchy street. We went upstairs, like it was weird, and we were just like, it was late. We didn't want to find somewhere else. And the thing is, we were a group of 6, and we were in a 6-bed room, like hostel room. So we filled the whole room. So we weren't worried about it. We put something close to the door. We locked the door, and we were fine. But you just gotta read the reviews. I don't think we booked this one. I think someone else booked it. But like now I'm like, which hostels like? Because some hostels are like really low budget, like sketchy, like maybe it has like 3 out of 10 on the website, where there's some that are like 8 out of 10. They're like really good. Like
the one I went to didn't even have towels. I'm like, I wash myself with my hand.
I travel with a travel towel, so it's like a fast drying towel. It's like really compact. So I personally travel with my own towel, and depending on the destination, I might travel with my own pillowcase. Because I don't know, because sometimes you just never know. And some places are clean and fine, but some places aren't. So I say that's like a little thing that you could do if you want to. Some people don't care. I personally care. So that's something that I do for myself. When I go travel, I bring a travel towel and sometimes a pillowcase. So,
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart idea.
Yeah.
Any other suggestions, ladies?
Ooh.
I think
I could go on and on.
Yeah,
but I think for now
we've touched the main points.
Okay. That's the whole point, is like you learn this stuff when you travel. So you can learn all these things, and then make the next experience even better than the one you did before.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go on out there, take advantage of the opportunity. You have time. Make time if you don't, and go. Just soar, fly.
And personally, for me, I feel like when I travel, I don't see enough women of color traveling, especially Black women. And so I think you should totally do it. I think the world needs to see more Black beautiful faces, so you guys should totally do it. And don't be afraid. Like I've been to places where I've definitely been to have people take pictures and videos because they're not used to seeing Black people. Because there are places like that in the world. But don't be afraid of it. Like go see another culture. Go experience the world.
I don't know.
Tell another story. No, totally tell it.
Because
it's actually crazy. There's some places that are like, I've never seen Black people.
Exactly. No, I was in Dubai and we went to Ferrari World, which that's in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And so there was a group, there was an Asian group. I can't say where they were from exactly, but they were like giggling in the background, and my dad pointed out, he was like, they're like looking at you.
Yeah.
And then he like waved them over. I was like, what are you doing? And then they came over and they started like taking pictures with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
They're like, we love your hair, because I had like these, but like
Especially
bigger.
if you have braids or twists in. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so they were like obsessed with my hair, wanted
Yeah.
to take so many pictures with me, and I was just like, okay. I'm like a little mini celebrity
Yeah,
right now.
pretty much. So I had the same experience in Indonesia and Thailand. And what was interesting, so in Indonesia it was more like the locals were like, oh, you know, but like in Thailand, it was actually like tourists, like Asian tourists, who were like, I guess they just don't seem invaluable, but
Okay.
it exists.
Yeah. We're out here.
Yeah, we out here.
Yes. Well, thank you, you guys. This
Yeah,
has
no
been
worries.
lovely.
This is fun.
Lovely. All right, we're gonna say tell them where they can find you.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram, Shooks, SHUKS _SULAIMAN.
Yeah, we have interesting names, so you could. We'll leave
So-
the link in the
Yeah,
form.
I'll just link it all. I'll just link it all.
And for me, I'm Tawa. You can find me on Instagram. Really, it's Tawa TAWA_KALIT.
And then I am Brittany AJ. You can find me at Brittany A Joy. Also, make sure you check out sistasinSTEM.org.
We'll be there.
SISTAS.
We'll be there. Hope to see you guys too.
Yes,
Yeah,
you guys.
Great content.
We are out here. We're trying to get more sisters, bring you guys in. You want to do a video, let us know. We love working with you guys. So check out sistasinSTEM.org. Follow the Sisters in STEM. And we look forward to connecting with you on the next Sis Chat. Thank you.
Bye.